One of the biggest ways that I think people hamstring themselves in terms of doing well and enjoying college, especially in freshman year, is not understanding how important it is to get enough sleep. I know that I was guilty of that back in college. I'm still guilty of it. So we've got some tips that should help you get more sleep and get more out of sleep so that you'll be ready for both partying and for classes. So we're going to go through some of these. The first one I think is interesting that I don't think people really think about, and it's sort of something that's going to be going through all of these, is that college seems like perfectly positioned to make these impossible to do. But the first one is, it says, exercise regularly, but not after the early evening. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. And similarly, try to avoid late night eating and alcohol. But college
like none of that's going to happen in college. Yeah.
Are you like, when you work out, are you like a morning person or a night person?
Well, aside from my schedule right now, obviously my schedule right now is really weird because I get up at midnight and I work all night at Current, and then I work here on Tuesdays, and then I usually go to bed at like 4 p.m. But I still try to work out in what is the normal people's morning, which is around like 10 a.m. when I get home usually, and then, you know, kind of stay up for the rest of the day and then go to bed at 4. And I'm trying to remember in college. I think actually in college, I mean, if you have a class at 8 a.m. in college, let's be honest, you are not getting up any earlier than 7:50, and you're like rolling out of bed in your PJs and going to class just however you woke up. So I definitely did not work out in the morning. I would work out like in the afternoon after class, but you know, if you're gonna work out later, try to maybe do it around 3 or something like that instead of around 8, because then your endorphins are all up, your energy's all up, and it's really hard to go back to get tired and go to sleep after that.
Yeah, like I played volleyball, but people who play basketball too, you tend to play like late at night.
And that's when all the intramural sports are. They're all late at night. It's kind of hard to avoid.
And the food and alcohol, like.
Yeah, like come on. Oh, like I'll just do some day drinking instead.
Exactly. Wake as soon as, you know, wake and have a Bloody Mary or something. Yeah. So the rest of this list will hopefully make up for the fact that you're not going to be able to accomplish the first one. But the second, and this is something that I think helps people not just in college, but it says don't use electronics, laptops, tablets, smartphones, etc. Late at night. Not only will the content stimulate your brain, which is a huge problem by itself, but the brightness of the screen is comparable to a morning walk in the sun when it comes to waking you up. Do you like think about that when you get, I mean, for you it's in the morning, but like when you're getting ready for bed, like for me, I watch an episode of Married with Children, an episode of Archer.
I know, I do that too, or I like get on my Kindle and like read a book or like catch up on email or whatever.
That seems more productive, but yeah.
But it's a bad idea because I have the same thing where after I do that, I cannot fall asleep, and it's because that glaring light in your eyes, it really does like release these chemicals in your brain that makes it harder for you to fall asleep. So I'm guilty of it, but it's a bad idea, and I do try not to do it. I've been a little better lately, but I agree.
Yeah. The best I think you can hope to do is turn down the brightness on your iPad or Kindle at least. That
or just read a textbook before you go to bed, because that used to put me to sleep in college.
The third, though, and this is an interesting one. Oh, would you like to read it?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
It says some colleges advise limiting your bed to the 3 S's: sleep, sex, and sickness. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I would say if you've already done the sex and the sickness, maybe wash your sheets before the sleep part, don't you think?
Girls, maybe. If you have early classes on some days, try not to sleep in on the others. Experts say a regular schedule is the most essential element of a healthy sleep routine. That seems counterintuitive because if you have the early classes on some days, you're going to need to make up the sleep on the others.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe that doesn't work out in terms of your body, but it seems to make it to work out, I think.
I know, but it is true though, because you probably know, like once you get out of college and you start working a regular job, and for normal people, not me, but you have to be up at like 7 every day. You want to sleep in on the weekends, but every weekend it's like clockwork. Your body wakes up at 7 again because your body just gets used to having.
Not me.
It does.
For you.
I don't know, for you.
Yeah.
It gets used to having a routine, and then you're in the routine, and then you continue to wake up at that same time. So if you can stay in a routine and just get to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning, it'll just be easier on your body as time goes on.
Yeah, that's the hard part. You got to start going to sleep earlier, not waking up later, and that's difficult, I think.
Well, and that's this one last more really quick. It says, I thought this was weird, set your alarm clock, but for the evening. So like set your alarm to tell you when to go to bed. And it says, if you need an alarm clock to wake up feeling rested, you're not sleeping enough. Okay, then that means nobody's sleeping enough, which is probably true, because there's no way I could wake up without an alarm. Are you kidding me?